Hello everyone, Old School Bliss here, and welcome to my channel. This is the channel where everything is made up and the points don't matter. And this here is the first episode in a series of Nuzlocke gameplay for Pokemon Y. To those unaware, Nuzlocke is a format where a few basic rules are in place that must be followed to help enhance the gameplay experience or make it, a smidge more difficult. That rule set that the series will follow is running with an expanded rule set inspired by the lovely hosts over at Blastburn Radio, as well as local members of the community that have added additional rules based on ride-along playthroughs that we've done in the past with them. To start off with, we have the three basic Nuzlocke rules. Rule 1. If a Pokemon faints, it is considered dead and must be placed in the Pokemon box as soon as possible. Rule number 2. You may only catch the first Pokemon you encounter on a route. The only exceptions to this are if Pokemon happen to be a duplicate in an evolution family of a Pokemon you've already caught. For example, you happen to catch a Rattata in an early route, terrible Pokemon to some, great to others. Later in the game you happen to encounter Eradicate on a different route. Since you've already caught the Rattata, the Eradicate would be considered a dupes because, of course, Rattata evolves into Eradicate. Finally, Rule 3 of the basic rules. You must nickname all Pokemon you catch. This is meant to create a bond between you and your team of deadly rage monsters. In addition, we have a few other rules. Rule number 4. All competitors must change the battle rule to set style. All this really does is changes what happens if you're in a trainer battle or a gym leader battle. Anytime your opponent has a Pokemon that faints and they send a new one out, by default the game will then tell you, hey, he's about to send this out. Do you want to switch your Pokemon? Having the rule set to set style prevents that dialogue and just whatever he's going to send out comes out and you have to deal with it strategically instead. Rule number 5. The Shiny Clause. Any shiny Pokemon encounter that is natural, meaning full odds, not like a scripted shiny encounter, kind of like in, like Gold and Silver with the red Gyarados, is considered a fateful encounter. Best efforts must be made to catch this Pokemon. Any fateful encounter overrides Rule 2, and any fateful encounter successfully caught must remain on the active team until it dies or you've cleared the game. Rule number 6. This is a competitive Nuzlocke. This competitive Nuzlocke consists of 12 players separated into teams of 4 based on the starters that we all selected. In regards to this generation of X and Y, the teams consist of Team Chespin, Team Fennekin, and Team Froakie. There is a point system in place that I'm not going to go into super detail on, but in future updates, I'll be posting our cumulative point totalers at the end of cycles. In regards to how these points are earned or lost, if your Pokemon dies, you lose points. If you clear a gym, you gain points. Also, rival encounters give points. Clearing E4 members give points. Basically, special story events gain points. And the only real way to lose points is to have your Pokemon die, so let's try to avoid doing that. There's also a hard mode, if I could talk, rule set in place for gym encounters. Before we enter the gym, we can elect to do the gym on hard mode, which will give additional points. However, these points come at a cost. While running the gym in hard mode, we are not allowed to use super effective moves, which, as you might notice, makes things a little bit more difficult to clear. And in some cases, nigh impossible if you are very unlucky. In either case, if you do happen to accidentally push that super effective button during a hard mode, you lose any points you would have earned in that gym. And of course, besides those of us that happen to be recording or streaming, scouts honor people. Be nice. So that clears that up, basically. So, Rule 7. Any item that is manually activated in battle, like potions, antidotes, X support items, stuff like that, we are not allowed to use those in battle. Now, your Pokemon gets poisoned, you finish your battle, Outside of battle, go for it. You can use the antidotes to heal the poisons, the potions to heal the HP. No big deal. Just cannot use them in battle. And of course, held items, perfectly fine. So if you happen to have that there Chesto Berry and your Pokemon just happens to be holding it and it falls asleep and the Chesto Berry wakes it up, that's fine. That's considered a automatically activated item, as it's a held item, with an activation based on a condition. Next all, we have the Messer-Engine Champion Role. Now this rule is taken directly from one of the Blastburn Radio playthroughs. It is the champion rule that Messer-Engine selected, and this champion rule is known as Gauntlet Mode. And in Gauntlet Mode, basically, once you start a gym challenge, you cannot leave the gym for any reason until you've either acquired the badge or wiped. So, better be prepared. Better have them healing items ready, because you're gonna need it. Next of all, we have the Dicketeer Champion Role. Now, this rule set comes from the brave lads known as the Dicketeers. It's one of the ride-along playthroughs that's been going alongside Blastburn Radio here. This special rule is known as the Permabench Rule. After every gym is cleared, you must permanently bench one of the surviving Pokemon that was on your team. Now, if doing this will cause you to have less than 6 available Pokemon, you are allowed to continue using that benched Pokemon until you're able to acquire encounters to replace its spot on the team. Makes for some interesting shakeups in the way of gameplay and in the way of PvP. Now, we do have a bit of a pre-game modifier, so to speak. Just, a few banned encounters. The static Snorlax that occurs in game. That is banned from usage, because then everyone will be using it, and then what's the point? There is, at the very start of the game, a static Pidgey encounter. That is not considered an encounter with the Nuzlocke, because it's always there. And also, Mega Lucario and Mega Gengar are banned from usage, and we have a ban wave. Basically, all 3 of the teams within the teams have voted to ban a specific Pokemon line, and then no one among any teams are allowed to use any of these Pokemon. And as far as the ban wave is concerned, we have the Honedge line, the Fletchling line, and the Riolu line that have all been banned. Now, if someone happens to encounter anything from those 3 lines in its shiny form always trumps base rules, so they would be allowed to use it if they encounter it as a shiny. Good luck. Now, in regards to the PvP content, so as you heard earlier, we do have 3 different teams. So at the end of each cycle, which consists of clearing a gym or clearing the Elite Four and Champion combination, we're going to have a PvP match. For all PvP matches prior to the final clear of the Champion and Elite Four, basically each team is going to vote for a member of that team to take the spotlight, so to speak, for the team. And then that one person is going to fight for the team against representatives from the other 2 teams that were also voted in to fight. And then points will be distributed based off of who wins of each fight, and that will dramatically affect the standings of the competitive Nuzlocke points. And as far as the rules are concerned, I believe that pretty much wraps it up. Now, this episode is probably going to be a bit longer than any future episodes are going to be, partly because of this lovely rule spiel, and also because I wanted to record, the introductory parts of the game as much as I could. Also, my emulator, my computer's not the best in the world, so there is no game audio. Oh, it exists, but it sounds terrible, so I don't want to subject you lovely people to that. So basically, after all this talking is done, we're going to listen to some music while you watch the gameplay. Future videos is pretty much going to be a bunch of jump cuts of all the encounters for the cycle, and then a full recording of the actual gym encounter. For this week, it's practically that, but just with all the intro stuff at the start as well. In any case, enjoy. Well, that was a doozy of a run, huh? Well, rest in peace, Vic. Your hard work may well be what put us through to victory. And of course, that wraps up our Cycle 1 of the Pokemon Y Nuzlocke gameplay. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to leave a like on the video. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment, get your opinion out there. If you would like to get notified on future uploads, go ahead and hit that notification bell and make sure it's set to show all new uploads. In the meantime, I'm blasting off again. Have a great Poké Day.